Afternoon, and welcome to the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners meeting. I believe today is the 14th, September 14th. Yes. We want to welcome everybody for joining us. We always start our meeting with a silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join us in the silent prayer. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Thank you. We have a couple of special,
Commissioner Reese,
yes,
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
I forgot. We have to actually vote. I have to read that. Okay, so that is passed. Thank you. We have some special presentations today. I'm super excited about. Our board has been. Okay. Before I get to the presentation, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Commissioner Dreehouse from the meeting today.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Okay, now to the exciting. I keep trying to get to the exciting part. We have some awesome presentations today, and our board has been very active and supportive of our youth throughout our county. And one of the things that I think is so important is that we must get our positive program to our youth. Before the street program gets to them. And so this board has put almost $4 million in ARPA money. We had grants to a lot of youth programs. Commissioner Dumas has led an initiative that we supported, Beyond Your Imagination. I've had an initiative, the Office of Youth. And then we want to honor and showcase youth when they're doing something outstanding. And so we are very excited today to have to be able to honor our youth who are Junior Olympians. Yes, we're so excited. I mean, you have to be the best in the country and compete against the best in the country. So we're very excited. So we have a couple proclamations to honor these Olympians today. And we're going to start off with our first one is going to be, which one you have?
513.
Yep. So first, we're going to honor the program, the 513 Elite Track Club participation in the 2023 AAU Junior Olympic Games. And it reads, whereas the 513 Elite Track Club members Adrian Knox, Jason Wilkerson III, and Bellamy DeRoge. If it's wrong, y'all correct me. Am I close enough? Okay, I like to be right. Participated in the annual U.S. Amateur Athletic Union Junior Olympic Games as All-American Junior Olympians.
And whereas the 2023 U.S. Amateur Athletics Union Junior Olympics Games were held in July 29 in Des Moines, Iowa. And whereas the 513 Elite Track Club exemplifies perseverance and teamwork, advancing themselves to the USAAG Junior Olympics, achieving All-American Junior Olympian titles. And whereas Adrian Knox competed in the pentathlon and Bellamy Dorojave completed the shot put event, both achieving national champion in their event. And whereas the AAU is not just about sports, through participation in AAU sports programs, athletes acquire the mental acuity, emotional maturity, and social tools necessary to succeed in the classroom and in the world.
Whereas the AAU is the largest multi-sport nonprofit organization in the country, and sports for all, forever. has been AAU's focus and drive for more than 130 years and counting. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners hereby congratulates the 513 Elite Track Club for a victorious win and commends the members of the club on being named All-American Junior Olympians. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners declares and proclaims September the 15th, 2023 to be known as 513 Elite Track Day in all of Hamilton County. And we got a couple more proclamations, then we'll come up and let you say a word and give you your proclamation, take pictures, right? Our next proclamation recognized the 40 West Elite Track Club's participation in the 2023 AAU Junior Olympic Games. Whereas the 40 West Elite Track Club members, Marion Sissy Davis, Eliza Ellis, and Akiva A.J. Freeman Jr. participated in the annual U.S. Amateur Athletic Union Junior Olympic Games as All-American Junior Olympians.
And whereas the 2023 U.S. Amateur Athletics Union Junior Olympic Games were held in July 29 in Des Moines, Iowa, and whereas the 40 West Elite Track Club exemplifies dedication and perseverance, advancing their way to the USAAU Junior Olympics, achieving All-American Junior Olympian titles. And whereas Marion Sissy Davis competed in the 1500 race walk, qualifying as an All-American Junior Olympian, and Akiva A.J. Freeman, along with Elias Ellis, competed in the long jump. And whereas the AAU is not just about sports, through participation in AAU sports programs, athletes acquire the mental acuity, emotional maturity, and social tools necessary to succeed in the classroom and in the world.
Whereas AAU is the largest multi-sport nonprofit organization in the country, and Sports for All Forever has been AAU's focus and drive for more than 130 years and counting. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners hereby congratulate the 40 West Elite Track Club for a victorious win and commends the members of the club on being named All-American Junior Olympians. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners declares and proclaims that today, September 14th, 2023, be known as 40 West Elite Track Club in all of Hamilton County. Congratulations. Now, before we take a picture, I want to open it up for Commissioner Dumas to say a word, and then I'll ask the coach from each club if you'd like to say a word. Commissioner Dumas?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the proclamation said it all, but children are the heart of it all. They're our society, and you know it's an old cliche about children are our future, but they certainly are. And whatever we can do to involve them in activities and positive mentors, that's what we need to do. And I know you probably can't tell now, but I did run track. I ran the 4x4. I was pretty good. We all go, when we get older, we just go all the way. But I thank you all and the parents, where are the parents? Yes, parents. Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I ran track too. I wasn't that good at it. Basketball, I had to run because of basketball team, but I stuck with basketball. It was too fast for me, running too quick. I know Coach Chip Wilson is here, and Coach Andy. Can I say your last name? Will you say it for me? I know you're here with. I'm not a coach, but okay. One of your representatives would like. Come on, Team Mom. Team Moms do all the work, I'll tell you. Shout out to the Team Moms.
Yes.
Come up to the podium if you like to say a word.
Thank you. I just want to take a few moments just to first acknowledge that we are very grateful for this opportunity. Not too often do, like you said, the positive, do individuals, you know, put the positive on a platform. We always hear the negative. So these athletes on both teams, they did an amazing job in Iowa. They represented not only Ohio, but Cincinnati in a fantastic way. The three athletes on our team, they're just amazing. Their work ethic was beyond anything that I've seen. And Ohio as a whole, we represented very well. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to, I'll be remiss not to acknowledge, and I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. People may recognize him from the radio, Don Juan for show on the radio, R&B Cincy. He's videoing. He's a proud dad right now, and his wife Regina. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, because like I said, our board, we want to keep showcasing. You know, we want to do it every week, showcasing positive young people that are doing the right thing. So at this time, if y'all come around, we have your proclamations for you. We're gonna come down here. Come right in. Three people that we named. Let's see. Here we go. It's Elite Club. What the Elite Club? And Jason. And we have Adrian. And we have Bellamy. Okay, the one that Elias Ellis. And the last one we have is AJ Free. All right, we'll turn this way. Can we do another one? Should we move down? Let's move down. Amanda, tell me.
So the problem is the podium's gonna get in the way.
We'll get behind you guys. How about that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, can I have you go right here? Okay, and then I'm actually gonna have you maybe go on the end. No, no, you're, I said it without saying it.
We're gonna look here first. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Got you guys. Hold it for a minute.
Can everyone take like one step?
So you're right.
Yeah, the spotlight's right on you. It's much better.
Oh, we will. Chip, okay. Chip wants to say something. Also, Coach Chip, you wanted to have a word? Come on up, and people also may not know you one of the baddest musicians in Cincinnati. Yes.
Running with Bootsy Collins and Charles, just to name a few. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here today, especially to pay the homage to these wonderful young athletes from the 513 Club and the 40 West Club. The parents, big homage to you, trusting your athletes with us as coaches. It's just a beautiful day here in Cincinnati, and I'm proud to be a part of Cincinnati, and I appreciate the commissioners for giving us this grand day to be here and to say it's our day
Yeah.
for the young athletes, and this is what we need. There's things that go on. Sometimes they can't help, but this is a safe haven for them as we coach these athletes, not only from the track, but the classroom. We always ask that their grades be up to par. That's important because grades are always first. And this is the epitome. As they move on up the ladder, as they do in AAU, there is they keep tab on all their events, and what they do is their numbers. And it's documented as they grow older to get to the high school level. And then if they're like right now, junior Olympians. So they're under the radar right now. They just might not even know it. And so I put this word out. Go to Next College Student Athlete right now. Fill the form out, put it in there as their events. You don't have to pay any dollars, but get them in there now because it's most important. And I appreciate everything. Go Commissioners.
Thank you, Coach.
See ya.
Thank you all, and we want scholarships.
Yes.
So colleges see this tape, and we want all our kids to get scholarships coming from our area down here. So thank you all so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we do have an exciting meeting, and everything we do is so exciting down here. But if you have to go, we understand. You don't have to stay for the entire meeting, so I didn't want you to feel obligated. Thank you all for being here. All right, we've got National Preparedness Month, and we're super, super excited about this proclamation. And I don't have my paperwork in front of me. I think I put it over here. And I'm going to read the proclamation first, and then both of us, I'm sure, have some words to say about Nick and all the great work that you do. Proclamation proclaiming September 2023 as National Preparedness Month. Whereas National Preparedness Month creates an important opportunity for every resident, employee, and visitor in Hamilton County to become educated and informed about threats and hazards that may impact the county, thus equipping them to become better able to prepare their homes, businesses, and communities against a disaster or emergency.
And whereas investing in the preparedness and education of ourselves, families, businesses, and jurisdictions can reduce fatalities and economic devastation in our communities. And whereas preparedness is the responsibility of every resident in Hamilton County, all households and businesses are urged to make preparedness a priority by being informed about potential threats and hazards, making a plan to respond to those threats and hazards, and practicing that plan for understanding and clarity. And whereas the Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency are working to increase public awareness of disasters and emergency preparedness by hosting a Partners in Preparedness meeting with community leaders to discuss the readiness level of Hamilton County, engaging in a robust and media preparedness campaign, and promoting the emergency notification system, Alert Hamilton County.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of all the residents and community members of Hamilton County, this board encourages all residents, businesses, and communities to develop their own preparedness plans and sign up for the emergency notification system, Alert Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim September 2023 as National Preparedness Month in all of Hamilton County. And before Nick speak, I'm going to start off to say that I was happy to participate again this year, and this year as the president of the board, giving some words of what has happened at your preparedness event in Sharonville. And it's just great to see all of the different jurisdictions. You've got it from health to everything dealing with your health. We're dealing with the water, dealing with police and fire and everything that deals with safety. And I was out somewhere else and someone stopped me that was from another jurisdiction and complimented the words that I said, but also the fact to be a part of a county that has it together. You had the state director down, and of course she brags about how we're just so together. But we learned a lot too, that at least I learned another component was that we have to prepare, and I came up with we got to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. And I think we're gonna run with that a little bit. But also the fact that after the disaster, when the cameras leave, when the news has moved on, it's a long process, and that you guys are working on helping with that process. You know, when Trotwood got demolished, nobody's talking about Trotwood anymore. Some people still didn't get their home. They had to leave. And also what's happened in East Palestine, you know, the cameras have left, but the situation, the people who live there haven't. And then they talked about the migration of people. When something like that happens, they are migrating, they pick up and go because it's hard to rebuild sometimes. And that our area is an area where people are coming that may have experienced natural disasters. So I wanted to just commend you on being able to really talk about all those issues holistically. And also I really, you know, because we think about, of course, what happened with the false alarm at Princeton, and of course, you know, our folks were ready to go, but then there's other, like you said, there's other things with the water and different stuff. So just wanted to commend you again for keeping us prepared, and then also the fact that you are willing to go into the community. We talked about that. Churches having a preparedness alert for their parishioners to learn how to get ready and how to look at the insurance that you sign up for, home insurance. You said there's certain words, and then you have a disaster. You say, I got insurance, and they find out, well, you got a loophole. You didn't get this kind of insurance. So those are some great things, and we're just blessed to have you as our leader and keeping us on top of it. So I'll open it up to Commissioner Dubas. I know she feels probably the same way as I feel it.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. As a commissioner, you're a member of the executive committee for EMA. All of us are members, and so I learned so much during those meetings. And Nick, I am in good hands because of you and your staff. I sleep well at night because after those meetings and even before, from knowing you as long as I have, you guys are some of the hardest working people in the county. So I'm letting our residents know that they can sleep well because you're on top of it and your staff are on top of it. So thank you for you and your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, the
So-
floor is yours.
We're up here every year, and I think, so first and foremost, what we do for the residents of Hamilton County. That's why we're here. You mentioned Partners in Preparedness, so we meet with our communities and stakeholders. For example, you were there, Administrator Ludo was there, Engineer Beck was there. So we constantly work to prepare our local governments to be able to help residents post-disaster. And I always say everything from Mount Healthy to the city of Cincinnati needs to be prepared. So our programming is built to help them get better prepared. And then, of course, we wouldn't be where we are today, which is much more prepared than we were several years ago, without the support of you, the commissioners, and the administration in developing the resources and the programs and the other things that allow us to go out into the community. So you and I talked about being at that community level. We're constantly encouraging preparedness. Preparedness Month is a time to highlight that effort. We're sort of in I call it a lull in our weather events. So we're sort of coming out of the extreme heat that we experienced. And now we're headed into winter, you know, and winter in Hamilton County doesn't mean that we stop working. We start getting ready for severe winter weather. We get ready for possible flooding and severe weather as early as February now, late January. So the process never ends. And I think, and to your point about Alert Hamilton County, so, and you've seen it in many disasters recently, being able to let the public know what's coming and then what to do after it happens is one of the key focuses of our program. And Alert Hamilton County is a big tool in that. And I always like to say, if you're not getting an emergency alert in Hamilton County, you're not trying. Because not only do we have Alert Hamilton County, but several of our communities partner with us so that they can do even more localized alerting at their level. And that's everybody from the city of Cincinnati to the village of Glendale. So we, again, try to make it possible so that residents can find out what's going on when they need to know what's going on. And so this all wraps up into myself and my staff. And then, of course, we wouldn't be where we are without the support of the county and lots of county personnel. JFS is represented behind me, the county engineer, the administration's office, and then, of course, the board's office. Without your support, we wouldn't be where we are. And so all of that to say, our residents need to understand the hazards they face, and they need to start preparing now so that should something happen, from a flash flood to a hailstorm to a high wind event, whatever it might be, that they can start helping themselves while the response system gets up and running, depending on the size and scale of the disaster. So I appreciate you recognizing National Preparedness Month, and we will continue to do what we do.
Awesome. Well, we're going to come around and take a picture with this proclamation to add to all those awards you've been getting. Okay. Do we have anyone, or are we on Zoom? May not have anybody on Zoom. We're on Zoom. Anybody on Zoom want to? Okay. We have a public hearing. Oh, comment. Oh, we do have one. I'm sorry. Public comment. Todd Harrison. Sorry, was there something in front of that? I couldn't read it. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's William.
William, okay.
I actually am, maybe not so much public comment, I haven't ever been down here. Mr. Bernard is here, he's wanting to vacate part of Old Hillside, and I
Okay.
just wanted to speak my piece on that.
Okay, well, what we'll do, we gotta open up the public hearing, and then we'll have you back. Sorry? Okay, thank you. Okay, so there's no general public comments. We will open up our public hearing. We have proposed vacation of a portion of easement right-of-way for Old Hillside Road. Mr. Eric Beck will give us opening comments. Yeah, walk us through it. Yes, thank you.
I do have a exhibit, and get that up. This petition is for a portion of Hillside Avenue. Currently, Hillside Avenue is over here, runs into Cleves Warsaw Road here. At some point in the past, Hillside Avenue was relocated, and this is an easement. So the underlying property rights are still owned by the property owners and not by the county. County has an easement there for roadway purposes only. We no longer have a roadway there, so this hearing, the property owner, the petitioner has asked for us to vacate the easement through this area, and that's what this hearing is for, is to vacate that easement across his property. And with that, I'm assuming we can go to any comments from the public,
Okay.
unless you have questions from me.
Well, let me open it up first. Commissioner Dumas, any questions?
Yes, I was just wondering what your comments are as it relates to the decision.
My comments are item number 2 on the regular agenda. I will give them to you then, but we have no objection. This serves no purpose to the county any longer. We have reviewed their plat and their descriptions, and everything meets the requirements. So we are in favor of the vacation. The county engineer is, yes.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. I only have one card. Are you wishing to speak, sir? Yes, you.
I'm Mr. Bernard. I don't know what, I just came to,
Oh, you just came to hear.
I came, I'm the guy wanting the,
You.
street vacate.
Okay. So
I can speak if you want me.
if you want to speak, we would need a card. Okay. You don't want to.
You're doing a good job.
You don't want to. You have nothing to say. You said don't mess it up. It's going the right way. Okay. Mr. Harrison, you're back.
Yes.
Yes. You have the floor for 2 minutes.
Okay. Can I give you some paperwork first?
You can hand it to the clerk, and it will be official paperwork.
These are some copies from the Hamilton County auditors. I brought 3 of them.
Yeah. They'll,
Explain some of the position.
thank you. They'll get it done.
I had my daughter type up something. I don't have the good education, what have you, so high school. But anyway, you guys know my name, William Todd Harrison. I would like to formally address the county engineer's office and members, down here for the proposed vacation of Hillside Avenue, Old Hillside Avenue. Please see the photos that I have brought. They were printed from the Hamilton County Auditor's website. They show some of the encroachments and drainage issues that are of concern to the county, the public, and Harrison Site Development, which I'm a single member of, due to the neighbor filling over the years. I believe the public and I have the right to the use and easement of road right-of-way by prescription and necessity. We do need to drain the water from the watershed above, along with some drainage of water from the acreage of my property, along with Hillside, Old Hillside Avenue, Cleves-Warsall. Some of up on Cleves-Warsall on the South Road is at 800. My property's at 500, 300 foot straight up a hill. With all these encroachments on the easement and my property, it is forcing everything to drain through my location, causing unnecessary inconveniences, annoyances, and damages, and will be at our own expense to fix. I believe the vacation of the easement by the county will only hamper the public's right, my right, to drain through the easement properly. Vacating of this easement will create additional hazards to public, county, Harrison Site Development. Our property has been in the business location and storage for many years, even before zoning dating back to the 30s. Since we have purchased the property, we have accumulated heavy equipment, trucks, and a storage on the property. Since 2015, we have also had a hard fill permit that's open to the public. People are in and out of the location every day. In the past, my neighbor has encroached and appropriated the easement right away for himself without regards to anyone. No permits, no nothing. Has also appropriated across the property lines. Currently, and in the past few months, he has begun filling over the area west of what he wants to have vacated on Old Hillside. This has blocked off approximately 150 foot of my access to what I consider to be my northeast front corner. He has totally disregard for taxpayer public, the county, myself, everyone in Hamilton County for all his own personal gain. It has been done in the past and continues in the present and needs to be stopped. With all that being said, I am asking for a continuance, extension, or a postponement of 90 days or more from this hearing, and for any decisions that to be made. I have contacted and spoken with 2 attorneys for legal advice, neither of whom were available to attend the hearing. Both feel as though we need to get engineering expertise, surveying reports, and further storm and water runoff information. This will allow for us to the needs to litigate, or to see if we need to litigate to resolve the issues.
And you wrap up, we usually only give you 2 minutes.
Okay.
Well, are you done there? Are you got one more sentence? I can give you one more sentence.
Well, and by that date, the lawyers will have a legal submission for your guys' review to do it in a proper way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other speakers in the audience that'd like to address this particular issue? Mr. Beck, do you have any response to that, or?
I will just give you some clarifying comments.
Thank you.
The area of fill that he's talking about is here, which is on the petitioner's property. Petitioner owns both sides, all of this property here. The fill is here. Soil and Water Conservation District has filed cease and desist orders on the fill operations numerous times, and I believe those were ignored. Again, the easement that we're looking at vacating here, the request for the vacation of the easement was for roadway purposes. There is no roadway there any longer. The underlying property still belongs to the property owner. So he has property rights for that property underlying the easement. So that is where we're standing, is that the roadway, the easement is no longer needed for roadway purposes in that area, since the property owner owns the underlying fee.
Okay, thank you. We usually only allow you to have one statement. Once, sir, I'm sorry. Sir, I'm sorry. What you can do is you can send an email or come back to the next hearing. I'm so sorry. I've given a leadway already. Okay, Mr. Aludo, did you have anything to add to this, our county administrator?
No, nothing to add other than what Engineer Beck said. The board can, at this point in time, close the public hearing. There's a report, as Mr. Beck indicated, there's a report on the agenda today giving their perspective on it. If the board was interested in soliciting additional comments, you could keep the hearing open if you wanted. But those would be your two options, is either to close the hearing and request a resolution from the engineer's office, or keep the hearing open if you desired to have additional comment on this at a future time.
Okay. Commissioner Dumas, wanted you to weigh in on this.
Madam Chair, I'd be willing to close the hearing.
Yep.
And have a resolution come forward.
Okay. I have a motion to close the hearing.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now we move to the comments of the Board of Commission. I'll open it up, Commissioner Dumas, for your any comments or resolutions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple things. I was involved with a panel this past Saturday. Great panel with some experts as it relates to economic empowerment. Excuse me. It was a leadership development group. The president is Paul Booth Jr., and it was called Getting Funded in Cincy. And so I was one of the panelists, and unfortunately, a lot of the funding for this year has been allocated. But I told them to keep their ears to the ground, keep your eyes open, and watch our website, because there'll be more financial opportunities coming forth. So I had a great time with them. Just left Mariana Terrace, their grand reopening in Lincoln Heights. They've been Oh. Okay, I'm gonna start all over. Did you hear the first part though? Okay, thanks. I think I want to go back, but I won't.
Yeah, start over so they can hear you.
But anyway, thank you. Getting Funded in Cincy was a panel that I was on this Saturday. I was one of the panelists and had a great time. Greg Forte from the Small Business Office was there, and we complimented each other as it relates to the county. I want to thank Holly for pulling everything together for me as I looked at which way I wanted to go with that panel. So thank you, Holly. Holly Christman is her name. She's smiling back. So anyway, I went to Mariana Terrace today, just earlier today, for a reopening of Mariana Terrace in Lincoln Heights, CMHA, and they have lots of partners, state, local, city partners. Certainly enjoyed that because we talked about it years ago, when I was in Lincoln Heights, that we wanted to just do more and more and more for that area. And then I moved on to ceremonial groundbreaking at Victor Vistas, which was near Avondale, Kingston and Company, they're building for 50 seniors, affordable housing. It's so good to see. I could do that all day because we talk about all the millions that we've given for housing, and to actually see the ground being broken and the ribbons being cut is awesome. And then, of course, I have my weekly briefings with the White House. I had a couple of those just recently. And so that will end my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And what I love about our board is that it's a big county and we get to spread out, try to represent throughout the county. So thank you for that. Couple things I wanted to highlight. I spoke at the grand opening and ribbon cutting of the College Hill campus of Children's Hospital there, and the governor and so many others. We put money toward suicide prevention. We put money toward mental health. This is, I believe, the largest pediatric mental health facility, probably, I think, in the state and possibly in the country. So that was great to go there and talk about our partnerships. In addition to that, we had a number of different things. We've been out, so I'm just trying to remember all the stuff. I was with the 513 relief bus. We were on Woodlawn last week, and I want to thank our clerks providing notary service. So service that's needed, and a lot of our different departments are volunteering to help with different services with the bus. Stay tuned, we've got more to come. I met with Congressman Greg Landsman for him to tour the bus, because this is federal dollars, and how are we using our ARPA money? And I thought it would be great for our congressional leadership to know this is what we did in Hamilton County and are doing. And he was very thoroughly impressed. He had not seen the bus, heard about the bus, but had not seen it. And we're looking at partnering where we'll be able to offer additional services like Social Security and some other items. We're hoping to do birth certificates and those kind of things. And they've got a number of services. So we're excited. We're doing some veteran partnerships as well with our congressman and the bus. So we'll be able to provide some of those federal type of services that are needed. So we're very, very excited, and he was very excited about the bus. So stay tuned. In addition, I met with Raquel Howard Smith, the new CEO of the YWCA, and was able to get some updates. I think we'll see something on the calendar today. But they also have a facility that they are building. And I wanted to see, as we are looking at our budget and deciding what we're going to do with additional funds, if it's something that is we're able to use, I'd like to put that on the table, because this is a way where the family can stay together instead of being in this open, like right now, it's like an open space shelter. They would be able to have their own room shelter, which I think is really good. So she had asked about the county looking at if there's some partnerships that we could do with that. And it's going to be in Avondale. Also, the 513 Relief Bus, I was with them in Avondale at the Addiction Services Council. It was a community resource event, and it was packed. I mean, it was so many partners, so many people. The bus had a packed house, standing room only. I want to reemphasize, people still need help. People still need help. Just because the cameras are gone and the headlines are gone, it's people's daily life. And we were able to also show TriHealth. They wanted to come and see the bus, and they got a chance to see the bus to see what kind of partnerships we can do with TriHealth. So I'm looking forward to that. Also participated in the Princeton Schools Elected and Community Officials Night. I always look forward to that. They had a home game, and they were playing Lakota. And so I got a chance to see a lot of elected officials throughout the county, as well as school board members, et cetera. That was really, really good. attended. We had the game of the week. It was all over. It was great for our kids, statewide exposure. Football game of the week, it was my alma mater, Withrow High School against St. X, and it was a great game. We came up a little short, but 10-14, it was a great game, and people are still talking about the kids on the team, and we're talking about scholarships, and I always love to hear that. We had over 6,000 people that came out to that game at Withrow, and we really enjoyed it. And I want to give Regina Williams a big shout out, who's the athletic director who had to pull all those things together. It was safe, it was fun, and we had national and statewide TV there. She had to coordinate all those things and to make sure that also St. X was welcomed, and she did a great job. Also, I just talked about the Partners in Preparedness conference that was great out in Sharonville. I had a chance to speak at that. And then I was with the 513 Relief Bus in Walnut Hills at the African American Chamber of Commerce. And we partnered with, I believe, the Gunnels family, who was doing a blood drive, but also the African American Chamber. And we had Greg Forte, our small business director, was there and coaching and talking to small businesses. My understanding, that office, since it opened now, has helped 500 businesses already. So she's getting a lot of action over there. And then I was at the groundbreaking yesterday of the Xavier Jesuit Academy in Bond Hill. I believe it's the old St. Agnes. And they're opening up a school for ages from 3rd to 8th grade. And I was out there with the community council president and a number of others. Greg Veer, I appreciate him. He's the vice president, invited me to be a part of that. And they seem to have some positive ideas that they're going to be doing and partnering in the community with our youth. And then today I was at the street renaming in honor of Dr. Odell Owens, and it's on the corner of Central Parkway and Ezra Charles Drive. And I want to commend the city for moving quickly to do that. I will have to say, and Mr. Ludo, when you give your report, I want to find out when are we going to get this done with Dr. Odell Owens' name on that building. It's almost a year, and it's no surprise. I said when Paycor put their name on a Bengal stadium, and we went to bed and we woke up and letters were going up. And I just saw they also have Fifth Third Bank gate that done went up. So they got the name on a gate, they got a name on these are stadium that we own, and we are still trying to get Dr. Odell Owens' name on the building and have an event. And I appreciate the city, they done a good job, but they already up before us. And I just, some of the family was asking me, hey, when are we gonna, when is the program? When do we come out? And I've kind of tried to, stay back. But I got to tell you, I'm disappointed because we'll be almost a year. And my understanding is that, well, we got to get approval from Blue Ash. And I'm sure Blue Ash has had a number of council meetings, planning meetings, but it sends kind of the wrong signal. We've got 2 county-owned facilities. One is the Bengal Stadium. Paycor is up without even a vote of the Planning Commission. Dr. Odell Owens, we had to go through resolutions, and we had to make sure we had the right language. Remember, Commissioner Dumas, we had to make sure it was written correctly. We went through all those hoops, and we a year, and we own that building, and we can't get nothing up. I don't know if we need to send the people that's working down at the Bengal Stadium to go help put the letters up on the coroner's office. But I will say that I'm disappointed, and I don't want to kind of hear, well, we're waiting, because when other stuff, we move quick, and then some stuff, we seem to move really, really slow. And it bothers me since I've been here that we pick and choose the things that move quick, and other things, particularly things that the board asks for. Usually when the board asks for something, we move real slow on the board stuff. But the stuff that's brought to us, not the board bringing, but things that's brought to the board, we seem to say we got to move fast. And that's kind of backwards. Seemed like the board stuff would be moved quickly, And then the stuff that's brought to us, we said we try to get with you on it. So I wanted to bring that up, but I am commending Vice Mayor Jan Michelle McKerney and Mayor Aftab and Scotty Johnson. Councilman Scotty Johnson were the three I think that really pushed this, and they had a great program, and the street is up. So I wanted to commend that. And then my last thing is, I guess I could combine it. I had a meeting regarding the convention center and headquarter hotel that the administrator had put together, I guess for all three of us. We couldn't meet together with 3CDC. And I want to highlight the questions that I have. And I don't feel like anyone is coming and asking for the public's money, whether you're doing it through tax credits, whether you're doing it through all of these different loopholes, there will be some questions. And I want to highlight that I don't know what the tone has been. I don't know what it was before I got here, so I can't comment on that. But when I show up, it seems like some feel as though they don't need to be asked any questions. And some of the behavior that I had to endure, I would not allow any other commissioner. I don't care if I was for it or against it. I would not allow any commissioner to be disrespected. And I would hope that my fellow commissioners would feel the same about me, whether we agree on something or not. But when you can't answer questions like how many square footage are we going to have, and you get angry because I'm asking about the question, how much is the square footage? And then you come in with $200 million, and I don't want to express what really happened because it was totally disrespectful. And I'm really, I was looking, Jeff, at the administration and say, is this how we allow people to come up into our county and treat a commissioner, whether you're for them or against them? We've been elected. Nobody hired us here except the people. So to come in and be so much anger, so much audacity, how dare you ask me a question? I'm expecting the commission administrator to put a stop to anybody, because I know that if such behavior was done and it was reversed, an African American had behaved in such a way, they probably would have been escorted out of here, almost like Pac-Man Jones was escorted off of the airplane in handcuffs. So I just want to say, whether these commissioners for something or against something, we still are commissioners. We've been elected by the people, and I happen to be elected to be the president this time. So I don't like the tone of how we've been going in these types of negotiations. And I wanted to put that on record. I'm not gonna say, if people found out what it really is, my people, they would be in this place tomorrow and be saying, we're gonna shut this whole convention center headquarters down if they knew what happened to me. Or if it had happened to another commissioner, I would hope they wouldn't have to do it. But I want to say that my questions are, what's the square footage? We're talking $200 million. How much square exhibit space are we going to get? Will we get a headquarter hotel of 800 rooms? We got rid of 800 rooms. We got to get 800 rooms back. That just puts us even, Steven. That's nothing, you're not even getting more for that. So if we say 800 rooms, we shouldn't be applying for grants and we write down 600 rooms. That gets me a little nervous. So I've been asking, how do we have something in writing that would say 800 rooms? And that's what I have been asking for. Can I get something in writing saying we will get the hotel and it would start at this particular juncture? And then how are we gonna pay for it? We're gonna be asked to go up on the hotel motel tax before we have a guarantee on the hotel. So I said, well, maybe should part of that go back to a hotel? Then there's so much anger, so much anger. And I want it stopped. whether I go with this or not go with this. Most people, if you come in with that type of attitude, they say the deal is off. No deal. So I have asked us some additional time to let this cool off, because this was not, it's going in a really bad direction. With that being said, also, Mr. Ludo, I looked at, there were 2 articles in the paper this week, and especially one of them, 3CDC, I mean, the director, I don't know what they would be angry about. They're getting $500,000. They're getting paid $500,000. The CEO is $500,000 salary. And it talks about everything down there. What's the next project? How much is owned? And I guess my position has been, it's not about the personality. It's about when we sign something, we're signing with the entity, whether that person retires or leaves. Just like when we sign for Hamilton County, whether we hear 20 years from now, that's Hamilton County's on the hook. So I just had some concerns of a monopoly of anybody, whether it's Port Authority. If you read these articles, is Port Authority or 3CDC a monopoly? What happened to the private entities? We don't have any hardly private businesses owning anything. And that might be dangerous in the next 20 years, not because of the people that's there now. We might can work with the people now, but what if you get a hard head come in and say, now I own all of downtown Cincinnati because I run this organization? I'm looking at the risk down the road. And then there was another article that came out today, said $1 billion in development. Cincinnati newest West End district to Paycor Stadium. That includes us. And it bothers me because every time we get ready to do the budget, we say, well, we don't have enough money and we can't give the taxpayers 30% back. We always come with that. We're broke. But then we come back with all these, how are we doing all this? Now, we'll say restricted funds. So what I'm asking for, Mr. Ludo, is I need all restricted funds in the county. Who restricted them? Is it restricted by the state law? If it's self-restricted, how much is in it? What can it be used for? Because I want to get just as creative helping the people who pay the taxes as I am creative to do all these big developments. Because when you look on here, there's no way we should be saying we're broke if we're going to be doing convention center. We got to do the stadium. We got to do a new stadium lease. They're talking about Central Parkway being redone. We got parking garages going up. There's $30 million or more. All of this stuff, people read this and then they get that letter in the mail and they say, wait a minute, you saying that my property values might go up, my taxes might go up, but then we've got all this stuff that we say we're gonna be able to do. A hotel, a convention center, a stadium lease, Central Parkway, and more. So I just want to bring those things up because I look at it in a total package. And I have some grave concerns of the capacity financially. Because when we bring up stuff, we say, oh, we got to worry about the bond rating. Oh, we can't do that. I bring up something to help the people. Oh no, we can't do that to help the people. We can't get a homeowner a break. That'll bust the budget. But then we come back with these type of articles, $1 billion and all of this, and it doesn't say. I don't see anything on here say private money. Nothing saying private money. All is either a tax credit, which is still tax loophole, tax abatements. Hotel taxes, got the word tax all over it. So I wanted to bring that up as we're going into the budget process. I wanted Commissioner Dumas and Driehaus is not here today. We don't get to talk to each other directly, but I wanted them to be aware of some of the issues that I am bringing up and why I'm bringing them up and why I wanted to make sure that they are being able to be answered. So. Mr. Ludo, these are my comments for this week. I am still concerned about the move. I've been getting calls from restaurant owners community folks out in Bond Hill that have concerns about the move. But I'm sure you said there'll be more information we'll be able to get out to the public soon. But I would like, in your comments, to please address the timeline on Dr. Odell Owens. I'm not sure if Commissioner Dugas might already know the timeline. I just don't know it. But I'd like to know what date we'll be getting that done, and also the other issues that I brought up about having restricted funds in the future. I know you don't have to today, but so that I know all of them, where they're going, and how we're going to fund $1 billion. So, Mr. Aludo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Commissioners. So just a couple of things briefly on some of your questions. On the Dr. Odell Owens building, I know we still have several months to get that lettering on the building because, as you indicated, some of the approvals that had to be getting received from the municipality, as well as the design documents and the bidding process it has to go through. I'll get an update from facilities. I don't have an exact date for you, Commissioner, but I'll get an update as to when we expect that milestone to be in terms of completion.
So, Commissioner Dumas,
Well, Madam Chair, you were saying about timeline. I had just written down timeline because, and then I just heard you say several months, and I'm like, almost fell out of my chair. Not only do I want to, what I would like to see is when it's going up, but before that, what has been followed? I'm not asking you now, but I'd like to see from the time we said we wanted it up. If you could give me, and I'm sure a president would like to see too, what have you done since then? Maybe lots of things, but when you say it's going to be several more months, that's unacceptable to me. It's just been too long, and that's already been communicated. Whatever we need to do to speed it up and get it done right, we need to do it.
I will follow up with information on that for the entire commission.
Yeah, I think that's important because I think we asked this question a couple months ago. We were supposed to follow up. If I'm not mistaken, we had asked this question a couple months ago because we're talking about RFPs, and now I think we get the
Where's
tape.
the gap?
Yeah, it was a couple months ago we had asked about where we are. You said you'll get that information to us, but it is very disappointing. Like I said, when we ask for something, it's always a little bit slower when the board asking for something. So I'm I'm disappointed because that was what you had told us before. You were going to get us some information.
Well, and I know I had some individual conversations with offices, but if there was not formal information that was passed along, I'll get that for you.
Okay.
As it relates, Commissioners, to the article in the paper, I don't know exactly what all of the $1 billion is. You mentioned several projects there, Commissioner. We can certainly follow up with a direct memo on restricted funds and where the restricted funds go. In addition to the information that you get annually with the budget on the restricted funds, but I know some of them that you mentioned there are city projects. There are some other projects that, as you indicated, are restricted fund projects. There are some that are not county projects. But I'm happy to follow up with exactly of the ones that were listed in the article, which ones are county projects, and what are the restricted funds that are going to fund those.
Yeah, I appreciate it because they kind of sometimes commingle. Some of these things are commingling.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and they put in the article, the center of it is this $200 million, they call it expansion of Duke Energy and the construction of a headquarters hotel. So that puts us in the middle of that. That's a big one. And then the other one they go into is the stadium, which we've got to shoulder that all by ourselves. Nobody's helping us shoulder it. Then it commingles because you have then the Port Authority, which we fund $2 million every year, and they're tearing down the old convention mall, and they also have control over the Millennium site. So we're involved. All these things are commingling, and I don't see any private. I'm just missing that. Everybody I look up is just two entities all the time. I mean, no, is any private people doing anything development-wise? So anyway, my point is, and then it has the garage, which we've got a FC garage we're putting up. We gave them one. We had two garages, and we're finishing the second garage. So I'm just saying, when a person sees this, I'm a taxpayer. I just got this letter in the mail about my house. And then you all sent something saying we got a gap on the budget. It's a gap when it's to help the people. And then you'll come back and say, we can't do 30%. But somebody see this, say, well, how you doing $1 billion? So that's why I want to know, are these really restricted funds? Is there anything we can get creative with helping the people, help them keep their property taxes down? Do we have anything that creatively to help the citizens? And just like with this Odell Owens, you know, it's taken almost a year and we ain't even went out for bid yet. But then we go and do something like this. We say we got to hurry up. I got to hurry up and get this 1% done in 2 weeks because it's got to be done by a certain time. Well, I mean, I want the same hurry up when we're doing something for the people. I want the same creative financing when we're trying to get a homeowner a break. That's what I wanted to put that in there. And they purposely put from FC to the Paycor Stadium. So from one sports stadium to another sports stadium, but basically they're just talking about it's everything from Central Parkway to the banks. And so I just wanted to highlight that because I saw it just like you saw it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, where are we gonna get all this money for all these projects? And then on the other side, we say, we don't have enough money. Or on the other side, we say, it takes time to get just a name on a building. So just wanted to bring that up because it was 2 articles, 2 days in a row, talking about development. And it has us tangled in it.
Sure. No, and again, I'm happy to provide the board with an analysis of the projects that were listed there and the sources of funding that, because as you mentioned, and sometimes it's not easy to message, but some of the sources of funding are not directly attributable to the taxes that people see on a regular basis. Some of them are. So I'll provide you with an analysis of those specific projects, which of them are county projects, which are city, which are things that do not involve either of us, and of the ones that are county and specifically, and which ones might be commingled, as you said, where there is a county general or restricted fund resource involved.
Yeah, because this article also goes in managing parking facilities and how much money is coming into who. And it doesn't say Hamilton County. $9 million coming in. Talks about salaries on here, versus people's salaries, $508,113. And then they go on to just a lot of different things I see in here. So even though it's restricted, I want to know who restricted it. Just like we decided to do it, but you know, the tax for the stadiums is not restricted. We've self-restricted it. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying to go into those, but I'm saying we always find a loophole or explanation, and I just want to see the same type of vigor, same type of creativity when it's time to do something for the citizens of Hamilton County. Their property taxes, I want to be just as creative. You know, how can we get to this 30%? You can be just as creative as we are with coming up with $1 billion worth of new development stuff. Or like we just used that example of Dr. Odell Owens' name on the building, get just as creative as they were with getting Paycor up before opening day last year. Or Fifth Third name is up on a gate before the first new game. Let's get just as creative, just as much vigor. You know, we got $10,000 grants that take longer than some of the $200 million asks. You get a $10,000 grant. We just had for some small grants. They had to go through long-term paperwork, take all day. But then we get to this, we can get it done. We have to get it done. So just wanted to kind of bring that in and the thinking in. So, but anyway, these 2 articles that hit, I got some calls. And so that's why I wanted to bring this up, because we're tangled in it, whether it's parking, whether it's selling of bonds, whether it's owning the Millennium site but gave it to Port Authority, whether it's putting money up to guarantee for the garages, $250,000 a year, even though they're not spending it, but they're holding it. You know, all these different things we're doing. We're tangled in this. They can't do it without the government. All this is government money. I don't see no private money. They didn't name no private companies in here. All public money with quasi unelected public boards controlling. So that's what I wanted to bring to your attention as we go into the budget process.
Got it. Thank you, Commissioners. Aside from that, I had some other comments, but in the interest of getting the engineer back, I'll provide this to the board offline.
Okay.
So if you wanted to move to the engineer, I'd be happy.
Okay. You don't have a nothing to vote on?
There are no by leave.
Okay, great. Okay, Engineer Beck. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, no, and not as it relates to before we go into the regular agenda, if I could just mention two things.
Yes.
And you were right on target with Odell Owens. We won't talk about that anymore, but we need to look at system gaps and what happened when it was such a priority. But secondarily, there are some small little groups in the community that we have decided get $5,000 for a year of mentorship, your coaching. And so the second round of the Inspire Initiative will happen when we have our next meeting. All of the commissioners will be here. I wanted to wait till everyone was here. So if you're on the second round, it's about 50 of you. Don't lose hope that that second round will be put forward to the commissioners our next meeting on Thursday for your $5,000. And lastly, I'd like to ask Mr. Ludo, last time I checked, there were about 6,500 people on the waiting list for rental assistance and mortgage relief. And I'm really, really concerned about that because even the ones that are on the waiting list have a 90-day out to receive help. 90 days is a minimum. So I know you were looking at ways to improve that system. And I'm just wondering, have we done anything else for those people that are on the waiting list?
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I will check with Director Patton. We've been talking about that wait list. I'm waiting for the August results in terms of what we have in terms of people in the queue at this point. So I'll follow up with him after the meeting, get you an answer on how many we have and what the current timeline is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that question. And maybe we can have Director Patton come up to one of our meetings to give an update on how we're doing, because you're right. I'm getting a lot of people stopping me saying, it's been way too long. One guy said mortgage assistance, he applied in December. And then they didn't come back to him until he called our office and they called him back, but that's, 40 days later or more. And then they come back and say, well, now we can't pay but $600 because you didn't get it in December. We have got to step it up. We've got to step it up. These people we're doing good at taking the applications, but we've got to have a step up. It's got to be something where we're saying 90 days, we're getting back to you or whatever it is, and we've got to stick to it. And then my last thing, I'm glad you brought up, I'm sorry, because something else got brought up to me. Mr. Joe Kelly again, who was here with the group homes. And the group homes, we back to not paying again. And these people are having to take out loans to pay their workers. This is ridiculous. And we keep saying, oh, well, we ain't got enough staff or something. We got to figure something out because we got enough staff to make them get certified. I'm not happy with that. And then I shouldn't have to, my office should not have to make a call for group homes to get paid. So I would like to get a report, and I'm not playing around with this, on once we approve, because we're approving the money up here, but this is ridiculous because they came in, the group home people came into our meeting and they testified. And then they testified that we paid them, but we were 4 months behind. No small business can afford to be 4 and 5 months behind. And we got to get it solved. So I like to have those two issues addressed that come up to one of our meetings because this is not to be tolerated. No one here would like to wait 4 months to get paid. We have to get these small businesses, they did the job, they did the paperwork, they need to get paid. We can't keep saying, well, we got a problem down there. I don't care. You got to roll up your sleeves and learn how to do it yourself or something. They must not be 3 and 4 and 120 days trying to get paid. They're small businesses. And then they got to pay the workers. So I wanted to bring that up, and I'd like to get a resolution to that. Not just Joe Kelly this time or whoever else it is. I don't care who it is. It's here's how you're gonna get paid. You do work for us, you do your paperwork, you get paid on time. We can't be a county that's paying people not on time. So I know, Mr. Ludo, you jumped in to try to help resolve it the first time. You jumped in again trying to resolve it this time. I appreciate that, but I just don't want no more time.
No, and I understand that, Commissioners, and I've spoken with Director Patton. We've talked about the situation. You're right, we did have, this has happened a couple of times. Director Patton has responded both times to get that freed up, but in our conversation, just in this latest incident, we've spoken about the fact that there clearly is, we've had some churn in staffing, but that shouldn't be an excuse for this. There's clearly a process issue here. So I know Director Patton is looking at that process right now to figure out how do we just resolve this in perpetuity so this doesn't happen again? Because once is too much, twice is obviously way too much. And so he's looking at that right now, and we'll be following up on it with you.
Okay, yes, please get back with us quickly. These small businesses can't survive out here. I'm sorry to our engineer. I appreciate your patience.
No
But
apology.
these are some critical issues, and I know our offices have been flooded with these type of things. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. First, Commissioner Dumas, I know you've been waiting for me to offer an opinion on the bridge forward. I haven't been putting you off, but yesterday they submitted another revision. So I hesitate to give an opinion on something that is still kind of changing. So you're still on my list. I just wanted you to know where it stood. We have 3 items today. Item number 1 is a resolution authorizing a consultant agreement with Fishbeck for the design of the public improvement to Berkshire Road Bridge B0083. This replacement is in Anderson Township. The contract is for a not to exceed $198,315, and this comes out of the county engineer's permissive auto funds. Item number 2 is my report on the vacation of Old Hillside Road in Delhi Township. All the utility companies have been notified, and any of their conditions raised were forwarded to the petitioner, and they were all addressed. And the engineer's office finds a survey plat and legal descriptions to be acceptable and recommends the vacation. So that is just for you to receive for the record. Item number 3 is a resolution authorizing a second amendment to a consultant agreement with Strand Associates for the Fields Erdel Conray Road intersection improvement, project number 501707 in the amount of $89,500. This is for work to prepare the right-of-way plans and legal descriptions needed for purchase of right-of-way.
Thank you. I'll open it up. Commissioner Dumas, any questions on items 1 through 3?
No questions.
Okay, I make a motion to approve and accept for the record items 1 through 3.
Second.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Ludo, we have a commission administration.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Items 4 through 7 relate to community revitalization grants that the board annually provides as economic development incentives for communities in Hamilton County, and Holly's going to walk through them individually here.
Good afternoon.
Yes, items 4 through 7 are agreements with communities for our 2023 Community Revitalization Grants. The board may recall we received a presentation on this back in late June. The agreements are brought forward to the board as they are signed and approved by the communities. So we wait for them before we bring them to you. So the first is an authorization with a grant agreement with Colerain Township in the amount of $250,000. This project will install sidewalks along Joseph Road in an area that includes a church, park, business, and senior condominium complex. This will also provide access to Colerain High School. There are currently no sidewalks in there, and it'll help revitalize that area, including some economic development opportunities for businesses. The next item is an agreement with the Village of Lockland in the amount of $190,000. This project will pave and repair and repave their public parking lot in their small business district that supports their business district on West Wyoming Avenue, and it will also include stormwater improvements. There's about 12 businesses within this area that it'll support that have a total of 45 employees. The next one is a resolution with the City of Sharonville in the amount of $50,000. This project will help them expand the city's existing small business facade improvement program. Since 2017, this program has helped 57 businesses with almost $450,000 towards improvements. And the last one is an agreement with the City of Wyoming in the amount of $250,000. This project will construct a new pavilion and include park improvements at Village Green Park, which is a community gathering space in downtown Wyoming, which will allow them to do more programming in the park, bringing more people to that space, which in turn will help support their local businesses. This is similar to the one the board recently approved with Gulf Manor. I think it was the last meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions on these agreements.
I'll open it up, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No questions. I'm just glad we can incorporate sidewalks in different areas for the public safety. So real happy about these, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I make a motion to approve items 4 through 7.
Second,
Commissioner Reese?
Yes,
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
yes.
thank you. Item number 8.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 8 is a budget adjustment related to our capital projects in the county and moving cash and funding into the right place so that we can adequately get projects paid for, issue debt for them eventually, et cetera. So Assistant Administrator Brueggen is here to walk the board through this resolution.
Hello.
There are actually two pieces to this legislation, so I'll take them in both pieces. It says for $43.2 million in capital project appropriations. Let me parse that a little bit. The first piece of this legislation is what actually moves the cash into the project. So it's mostly moving cash from the general fund into the project funds, and that's a total of $33.75 million. So of that, those movements, to give you a sense of what those bigger pieces are, of that $33.75 million, about $24 million of that is planned for debt service. So we know that ultimately that cash is going to come back to us when we go out for debt on those projects. And that's primarily related to the Finley Market Garage and for the locks and screens project, Justice. So that's the big scope of what's in the transfers. Then on the attachment is the actual budget adjustments, the actual supplemental appropriations that we're doing. And that number is the $43.2 million number. What I wanted to note, though, is that of that $43.2 million, only 25 of that is actual project appropriations. The rest of those are the appropriations to move the transfers. So we have to do the appropriation to put the transfer in place, move the cash, and then put the appropriations for the project in place. So of the 43, 25 of it is actual project dollars. And of that 25, there's two big pieces there, really. 14.2 of that is for the EMA 911 building that you're aware of. And even of that, only $5 million of that is the general fund. The rest of that 14 is coming from other sources. And then there's 8.5 of the 25 that is the locks and screens project that we will ultimately debt finance, which means that actually only about $2.5 million of what you're seeing in that 43.2 million is for all of the other projects within the scope of this appropriation.
Thank you. I had a question. I think Mr. Ludo had answered it, but I want to make sure I understood it properly. Because I wanted to know, with the locks and the windows being, I guess, less than double digits, why we would put that into, why would we finance that, where we have to pay back with interest, or is it in a package?
It will probably be part of the package. We'll see as we go. We've got probably about 15 million that will almost certainly go next year for some energy efficiency projects. And then I'm looking at probably another 10 to 15 that we can add on to that. It's really just a matter of balancing our entire capital program between debt financing, some of it, and cash financing other pieces. And actually, this is one of the larger projects that we have out right now that's purely general funded.
Gotcha. Okay. Commissioner Dumas.
Thanks, Madam Chair. The $33.75 million that comes out the general fund, you said we'll get it back. But when it comes out, does that impact our reserve at all?
It doesn't, it doesn't. It's obviously part of that cash reserve. But everything that we're contemplating here today is either part of the operating budget or part of an earmark that we earmarked specifically for capital dollars in 2023.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. Good to move
That's
forward.
all I have, yeah.
All righty. Thank you. I make a motion to approve item number 8. Thank you.
Second,
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
yes.
Thank you. Okay, we move to the consent agenda. Mr. Ludo, can you walk us through it?
Certainly. Thanks, Commissioners. I'm going to try to go through this fairly quickly. We've got a long consent agenda, this being one of the first meetings back after a summer break. Item number 9 is a resolution consolidating parcels and conveying some property to the city. This relates to the consolidation of property into a plat related to the Findlay Market Garage. We have a budget adjustment. Number 23 is item number 10 for $5.7 million. The vast majority of that is the appropriation of our fiscal year 23 entitlement grants in planning and development, as well as some additional grant funding for emergency management. We have item number 11, which is the resolution number 37. This is the defraying of Memorial Day expenses. There's 17 organizations as allowed through the revised code that have come in to ask for reimbursement of expenses for Memorial Day. We have a then and now as item number 12. This relates to a contract in Job and Family Services for $11,928 with Language Select. Item number 13 is an air handler unit at Paycor Stadium, $250,850. It's the awarding of a contract to Triton Services for that air handling unit. We have a payment to the Fujitech Company for $2,004 for county facilities. We have item number 15, which is the award of a contract with Graybach LLC for hydraulic elevator modernization. This is for the 4 elevators in the floor 1 through 4 elevators in the lobby of the Todd Fortune Center. We have resolution awarding an invitation to bid on behalf of the engineer's office for dump truck bodies. This is for $310,698. We have a resolution number 17, authorizing the purchase of a Ford F-250 as a replacement for the county engineer, $49,999. We have a resolution awarding an ITB to Queen City Mechanicals for domestic hot water replacement at Great American Ballpark. We have resolution for the purchase of a Ford F-150 in planning and development for $49,178. The item number 20 is a resolution awarding resolution number P113-23 for the purchase of a Ford F-350 on behalf of the county engineer, $49,999. Item number 21 is the purchase of a Ford Explorer for the sheriff's office, $45,256. We have an item from Environmental Services. This is the provision of a waste management or waste reduction grant to Life Pantry for some composting equipment to improve their ability to compost and reduce the amount of food waste that they're sending to landfill. Under Human Resources, item number 23 is our stadium liability insurance for Great American Ballpark and Paycor Stadiums for 2023 and 2024 at $758,691. We have several Job and Family Services contracts. The first 2 items, 24 and 25, are data sharing agreements with the United Way for Project Lift and our emergency rental assistance programming, respectively. That's so that we can share data back and forth as the United Way and JFS are partnering on the provision of services in both emergency rental assistance and poverty reduction. Item number 26 is the removal of 1 member from a committee. This individual no longer works for JFS anymore, so we're removing them from the Child Abuse and Child Neglect Regional Prevention Council. Then we have an independent living services contract with New Path. We have item number, that's for $1.545 million. Item number 28 is a resolution for independent living services with NECO for 1.5. at $108,000 with right of passage. Item number 30 is a contract for domestic violence education for $400,000 with Women Helping Women. Item number 31 is a contract with the YWCA for domestic violence education services for $250,000. We have item number 32, which is authorizing the zoning map amendment that the board had a hearing on earlier this year, the Hampton Inn outlot expansion. Item number 33 is a resolution which designates Alloy as our housing officer for implementation of our community reinvestment area program. Item number 34 is authorizing a CDBG subrecipient agreement. This is with Strategies to End Homelessness for $300,000. This is the pass-through grant that the board had previously heard a presentation on. We also have a pass-through grant with Last Mile Food Rescue for $75,000. That is with Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funding. And then we have item number 36, which is a pass-through with, I believe, the Department of Development related to a expansion of Lydia's house for $1.193 million. And finally, Commissioners, item number 37 is the prosecutor's annual report related to aggravated arson cases in the county. And we have the report to no objection of 3 liquor permits in the county from the county sheriff. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. I had one comment on one of them. Item number 23, the resolution for purchase of a sports stadium liability insurance program for Great American Ballpark and Paycor stadiums. And my question initially, I had a couple questions, but I wanted to make sure. Number one is that because we own these stadiums, we have to have insurance. So now,
It's a component of the lease, correct?
okay, so we're responsible for the insurance.
That's correct.
Okay. Second is on the insurance rate went up, you said substantially this time. Of course, $758,691 that we as the taxpayers have to pay for insurance on both the stadiums. But you said it went up. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It did. So the amount of stadium liability insurance, we're required to have $100 million of insurance at each stadium. This is general liability insurance. And unfortunately, we're in a very tumultuous market right now related to property insurance and liability insurance on property. Some of the documents that are out there, some of the reports have said that this is a insurance market not unlike the follow-up from 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina. So this is a very, what the insurance brokers have call a very hard market right now, and it's persisted for some time. So we're seeing this type of rate increase. We've even seen it with some of our property insurance as well. So that is the reason for the increase. We are looking at ways, we're talking with risk management, and risk management is looking at some ways that we might in the future as we get out of this 23-24 policy to look at other options that might help ultimately reduce our cost burden on this. So we'll come back to the board with some recommendations on that, but we don't like to see costs go in this general direction. And with the market being as hard as it has been for the number of years, we want to look at some different options.
Gotcha. Thank you. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did that go up? I remember reading, what, 300,000?
Correct.
That's a big amount. 24 and 25 as it relates to the data sharing agreement. We have already paid the money for them working with us. This is just a resolution to agree that they can share. It has 0 on there, so I'm trying to figure out, did we pay
Yeah,
them?
this is a working arrangement, an agreement as a working agreement in terms of how we're going to share data. Correct.
Right. We don't have to pay them anything to do that, or?
No, I think anything that we would be paying them would be through a separate agreement or part of those individual agreements, but this is a separate agreement related to the data sharing itself.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Well, I make a motion to approve items 9 through 38.
Second.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes,
Okay, Commissioner Dumas, anything?
I have nothing, yeah.
Okay, if there's no further, I'm sorry, Charlie, you looking over there, you got something, you was ready to hit your button. All right, if there's nothing further to come before us, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
yes.